Okay, let's get started on Chapter 2, SAM Project 1A. So again, we're working with the FlexCab company. And in this description, it says Simone works in the accounting department and the taxi service and has created a revenue detail report for the week of April 13th, 2015. She would like you to complete the report by adding the formatting and calculations. So again, you're going to download the file, rename it to _2 before you submit it, and let's get started. So it says switch to the worksheet, sheet 1, and I just want to say that I started here, and I want to talk to you about this whole thing is a workbook. These are worksheets, okay? We can click on the worksheet tabs here, okay, and that's what it's talking about. So we're going to worksheet, sheet 1, and it says in cell B13, use the sum function to total the values in the range B6 to B12. So in B13, use the sum function. Now, we used the sum function in the last video by using the equals, sum, and opened it up and did all the work ourselves. We have a great opportunity here to use what's called the AutoSum function. There's some functions hidden in here, and one of them is sum, and AutoSum is that. And what it does is it automatically selects a range of text. So I click enter, and I get my sum. And then it says, using the fill handle, transfer the formula you created in B13 to the rest of the formulas across to J13. Okay? So again, we select the cell, and we go to our little box in the right-hand corner until we see the cross. Left-click and hold, and drag across to the cell we want, J13. And there we go. We have our function pulled all the way across. Step 3 says, in B14, use the average function. So, average can also be found here, or you can hit equals and spell it out, and it will come out. So I'm just putting that. And then if I double-click this blue, it opens it up automatically and grabs it for me. But let's see what it does if I use this. If I click on average, you can see that it selects all the text, but it also includes the total, which I don't want because it says B6 to B12. So what I can do to fix that is come in and wait until I see a little arrow like this and move this up. So it says B6 to B12, and then hit enter. Okay, another way that you could do that, let me back up, Control Z to back up, and delete that. I'm going to come in here and do average, and then hit enter, and guess what? It's off because I've chosen B13. I can just come in here and change that from a 3 to a 2, and it moves my little box, hit enter, and it corrects my numbers. Okay? And then it says fill all the way over to 14, K14. So it's saying this time to go all the way over. So again, go to our fill handle, left click and hold, and just drag across, and we're done. Now it says in B15, we're going to use the max function, okay, to find the maximum in the range B6 to B12. Copy the formula all the way across to K. All right, so the max function is right here. It wants to select all this, but I can left click, hold here, and just select the cells I want, hit enter, select the cell, drag my formula across, and we're all done. Now we're going to do the min function here. And again, I'm just going to left click and hold because it's easier. Hit enter, select, left click and hold, drag across, and we're done. So we're on to step 6. Okay? Format the range of B7 to K12. So let's select B7 to K12. B7, and I'll go all the way over to K12. All right? As you can see, if I scroll over, it's just the end of my chart right there. So B7 to K12 with the comma style number format with 2 decimal places. So up in the number area, we've got a few things that are out in the open here. This says accounting, percentage, comma style, which is what we want. You can also find them from the drop down. You can see the fraction, text, currency, number. Okay, so there's a lot of options here, but the comma style is only found here. So we click comma style, and then it says with 2 decimal places. Oh, it has 2 decimal places. All right. So it says now format B6 to K6. So let's select B6 to K6 with the accounting number format with 2 decimal places. Okay, so we know that we can get accounting here. We can also come here and get accounting. Okay, I'm just going to click here, and now it auto-populates with 2 decimal places. What if it didn't have 2 decimal places? Well, there are 2 buttons up here that say increase decimal and decrease. So let's say it showed up like this, and I want to, I just click increase twice. Okay. Now the difference here is that you can see that it puts the little $sign over here on the left-hand side. So now it says format A6 to A12. So let's find A6 to A12. Okay. With the start date, the short date number format. So we can do this a few ways. We can go right up here to the little format button, which is in cells because we're formatting the cells. And then we're going to come down here and find our format cells button. And it already knows that it's a date. So it's going to give us the date opportunity. Now it says we want the short date. It shows us that 4/13/2015. So we want it to be right here. Okay. Click OK. And you can see that it shows just what we expected it to show, the short date. Another way, if I Control Z, is I can come and right click anywhere in here and go to Format Cells and select the same thing. All right. So moving on, it says center the contents of A5 to K5. So A5 to K5. And in our alignment box, we're just going to center, okay? 10, change the fill color of A13 to K13 to standard yellow. So A13 is right here to K13. Now, the interesting thing about Excel is the standard color for the fill box is standard yellow, okay? It says 4th column in the standard, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't need to use the drop down. We can just click here and we're done. All right. And then it says apply a top and thick bottom border to the range A13 to K13. So we have it selected, and we're going to come again in here into this little thing, and it gives us our borders. And we're going to look for top and thick bottom border. Select that. Now if I click somewhere else, you can see what it's done. And then it says change the width of column A to 32, and that's 32 characters. So to do that, I'm just going to select column A. When I see this little down arrow, I'm going to right click and choose column width. Okay, 32, hit enter, or you can click OK, and it makes it 32 characters wide. You can also come in here, and there should be a column width right there. All right. So let's move on. It says in cell B23, so let's go to B23, which is going to be right here. Create a formula without using a function that subtracts the value of B22 from the value in cell B13. Copy the formula from B23 to the range C23 to K23. Okay, so it says create a formula without using a function. As we talked about a little bit before, a formula or an equation is something that you manually create. A function is something built into Excel. So we start it with an equals because that's all we do. And then it says what we're going to do is subtracts the value of B22, all right, which is right here, from B13. So I'm going to take B13 minus B32, or B22, I apologize, and hit enter. This has created, and this is a formula or an equation, okay? That is something that we have created. We didn't use a function in Excel. We didn't type in a word to get a function. So then it says copy. So it's selected. I'm going to grab my fill handle and drag it all the way across, because it said it wanted it to K23. So we're good. Now it says in B24, create a formula that divides the value in B23 by the value in B22. Okay, so again, we're creating a formula or an equation equals B23 divided by B22, which gives us this right here, okay? It says format B24 to K24, so we want to copy this all the way across. And then it says format it with a percentage number format with 2 decimal places. So I'm just going to come up here and click the percent. And now you notice it doesn't have any decimals, so what do I need to do? I need to come up here and increase the decimals 2 places. All right. So we're done with 15, so let's go to 16. It says apply a new conditional formatting rule to the ranges B24 to K24. So in this row that we have selected, the rule should format cells with a cell value less than 0 with standard orange. Okay. So to do conditional formatting, we come up to our styles area, and now it says we want to highlight, right? So we're going to go to highlight rules, then it says less than 0, so we're going to do a less than. I'm going to type in 0, and then it says with standard orange fill. Now you can see that we're in red with light red fill with dark red text. We want to do a custom format, okay, and then go over to our fill and choose standard orange, which is the 3rd column in the background color palette. So it's right here. 3rd column, 7th row, standard orange. If I hover over it, normally tells you it's standard orange, but it won't at this case. I'm going to click OK again, and now we can see that everything under 0 is highlighted orange. Now it says change the orientation of the worksheet to landscape. So with landscape, we want to go to our page layout tab on what's called the ribbon and just go to our orientation and from portrait to landscape. Now once that layout's changed, we can tell if you have your print preview, and you can add buttons up here by coming over here. You can see that I've added print preview. If I click my print preview button, it shows me that it's a landscape orientation and it's dictated here. So if I do portrait, it shows that, but it's actually landscape, okay? So the orientation will highlight too what it is. And then it says change the name of the worksheet to revenue details. So I'm just going to highlight this and copy. Now in order to change this name, I can right click, rename, or I can just double click. In this case, I'm going to just paste that in, or in your case, maybe just write it in. All right, and we're done. You want to make sure you save this with the _2 before you submit it, okay? Thank you very much, and I hope you had a good time.